The Tuesday, March 4th, 2025 meeting of the Eden Prairie City Council is now called to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's customary during this beginning part of the meeting for me to read an open podium invitation to our residents. Open podium is an opportunity for Eden Prairie residents to address the City Council on issues related to Eden Prairie City government. These open podium times occur prior to each council meeting. The meetings typically occur the first and third Tuesday of each month. Open podiums occur from 6:30 to 6:55 right here in the council chamber. If you wish to speak at open podium, please do contact the city manager's office at 952-949-8412 by noon of the meeting date with your name, phone number, and subject matter. Open podium is not recorded or televised. If you have questions about open podium, please do contact the city manager's office. All right, we have no proclamations and presentations this evening, so we can move right into approving the agenda. Are there any additions, any council member reports? If not, if someone wants to make a motion to approve the agenda as listed.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. We have 2 minutes to approve the workshop held back on February 18th and the council meeting. Council, any corrections, additions, anything you want to raise as a concern? If not, is there a motion to approve both the workshop and the council meeting?
Move to approve the following city council minutes. City council workshop held Tuesday, February 18, 2025. City council meeting held Tuesday, February 18, 2025.
Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. We have, looks like, 10 items on the consent calendar, A through I. Council, any items you wish to pull to have a little bit more discussion on or ask more questions? If not, is there a motion to approve consent calendar items A through I?
Move to approve items A through I on the consent calendar.
Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Mr. Getchell, we have one public hearing this evening, and I'll turn it over to you.
We do. Thank you, Mayor. We have a development proposal for the Highway 5 Business Center by Endeavor Development. And the applicant here is requesting to build a 52,000 square foot speculative building on the property located on South Adventure Lane, north of Highway 5 and Wallace Road. And for a lot of us, that is for everyone familiar, it's a 4-acre parcel that has long been held by MnDOT. It goes way back to the Highway 212 construction. That has been excess property that they've held for a long time. That has been a potential piece of development property. And just this past year, the applicant here purchased that property with the intent of building a modern new flex office warehouse space. So they will come forward with their proposal to present to you. The Planning Commission heard this proposal at their February 10th meeting and unanimously recommended approval to the City Council. So the applicant is here to present their project and their plans to the City Council, and then the staff and the applicant could answer any questions that the council or the public has.
Please come forward. And while you're doing that, Mr. Getchell, what's your best guess why it's been this many years that this parcel has remained a remnant?
Well, that's a really good question, Mayor. I think it's been up for sale on a number of occasions, and MnDOT has not been able to find a buyer till now.
So it wasn't anything MnDOT was not willing to sell, or they had pulled it off the market, nothing like that?
They may have had it on the market, on and off the market on a number of different occasions, but I guess I can't speak to,
Okay.
was the final price that they sold it for different than maybe what they thought they would sell it for a decade ago? I'm not sure. That's a good question, but I'm not sure.
Okay, thank you. Welcome. Give your name, address, and maybe company you work for.
Yeah, my name is Evan Matson. I'm here representing the applicant. My address is 5800 American Boulevard West, Bloomington. Can you hear me? Okay, sorry,
Yeah.
a little louder. All right. So I guess to speak a little bit about the history, we acquired the property back in September. It was up for auction from MnDOT for about a year. So we acquired it on that time frame. I'm not sure if there was further history beyond that. In the late 1990s, 3 outdoor storage industrial buildings were taken down to make way for that intersection. So that's some of the site history that existed previously. With that, I can start with our presentation. So here is a rendering of the project. As was mentioned, it's a 50,000 square foot modern business center built on a speculative basis. This is a view of the western elevation. So a little bit about us. We've been here previously presenting on Nexus at Opus Park. We're a local developer. We like to build projects of this nature, infill, that we think will be really beneficial for the community. This is a speculative project, so there's not currently a tenant on hand. And we feel like that's a little bit of our specialty, is projects like this, identifying a location, bringing in users to the city, and creating a project that we can all be proud of. Here are a couple highlights of the project that detail the request and the application. So as was mentioned, we acquired the property in September from MnDOT. It was previously zoned as right-of-way. So part of our request is to plat the lot because it's currently unplatted. We're proposing to develop a 52,000 square foot business center. We're also requesting to rezone to flex service. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, flex service is a new zoning type. The entire immediate area is guided for flex service. So request is consistent with the guiding the Aspire 2040 plan. Here is an aerial of the site. You can see its location there on the southwest corner of Venture Lane and Martin Drive. It's a 3.9 acre parcel. Has some topography, so we worked a lot on the design there to figure out a solution that would allow for development. I think that's a contributing factor on why it potentially sat for a while. There's some topography there that we had to really work through. It's currently zoned as iGen. It defaulted back to iGen after we acquired it from MnDOT because we can't own a right-of-way parcel. So here is a view of the site plan. You'll see that we have an entrance on the west and the car parking along the west. There is a truck court along the east. We are very diligent in trying to locate the site elements as best we could with topography. We are using locally sourced materials. As far as sustainability goes, we feel like repurposing and reutilizing materials is really the best thing you can do. So our previous proposal and presentation that we presented, Nexus Opus Park, there is materials that will be reclaimed from that project and utilized on this project. So that's something we're proud to be incorporating. It's set up for EV vehicles. There's a question asked at the Planning Commission about how we plan to expand EV vehicle parking, and we feel very confident in our proposal and our project by having the ability to expand that due to the switchgear that we're installing. We paid particular attention to the landscaping plan. As was noted, this is a very highly visible site, and we wanted to plant really premium plantings along the areas that are really highly visible. Premium meaning larger, more mature, upfront day one, so that there isn't as much of a transition period. So we worked with city staff on that. Here is the exterior elevations and material finish key. So the facade will be painted precast with a stone veneer and metal canopies and window frames. Moving from the top, the west elevation, down to the south elevation, which will border Highway 5. Once again, here you saw at the beginning, but here's a rendering of the project from the west. And we share these images because we feel like renderings aren't always representative of what the project will look like. And so these are character images that will show the color selection as well as the materials that will be utilized. So that's why we include them on this presentation. A couple sample interior images, because it's built on spec, we wanted to show you what a tenant may ultimately build out. To summarize, we're requesting rezone to flex service and preliminary plat approvals. Flex service zoning is consistent with the 2040 guide plan. The preliminary plat is requested because we are reclaiming the site from MnDOT and it's required. And we're seeking to revitalize the reclaimed MnDOT right away and go forward with our project. And with that, I welcome any questions.
Council, we can ask questions at different points. This is not a bad time since we've got the proponent standing there. So Councilmember Nelson, go ahead.
I have one question. Is this building going to be either solar capable or solar ready?
Yes, so our structure will be able to support solar. It will not be installed up front, but it will have the capability for a tenant to accommodate that down the road.
Okay, so it'll have, you know, all the electric available and stuff that they would need to hook into and
Yep.
other such things.
Yep, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Do you ever participate when you're dealing with a potential leasee in incentivizing or encouraging? I realize there's money that
Yeah.
has to, I mean, it has to fall back, I guess, on the tenant, but it would be great if we could get more tenants possibly seeing the financial advantage if there was one, and if an owner was able to somehow participate in that process. I'm throwing out something we really haven't chatted a whole lot about outside of the context of a building coming before us, but have you given thought to that as the company you represent?
Yeah, so we've worked with a couple of groups and explored opportunities. We feel like a great opportunity is the EDA program to explore different incentives through rebates and programs along that manner. So we're pursuing that with this project as part of our development agreement. We're enrolling in that process.
Is that a federal program?
No, it's a,
Good. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Because it may not exist
yeah.
in a week. Okay, council, anything else before we open it up to a public hearing? We can always pull the proponent back up. Okay, thank you. Just stay near and
Yep.
appreciate that. So anyone in the audience, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone that wishes to address the city council on our Highway 5 Business Center by Endeavor Development? Please come forward and state your name and address. Council, again, well, let's close the public hearing, but again, if you think that this is a fairly straightforward project and you want to go ahead and make the entire motion, we can still have a comment and question time. Is that appropriate? If so, I don't see any negative head movement. So Lisa, you were nodding there. Do you want to go ahead and make the motion?
Sure. I'll move to approve the first reading of an ordinance for a zoning district change from I general to flex service on 3.98 acres and adopt a resolution for a preliminary plat combining several tracts into one lot on 3.98 acres and adopt a resolution for findings of fact in support of park dedication fees and direct staff to prepare a development agreement incorporating staff and commission recommendations and council conditions, and authorize the issuance of an early land alteration permit for Highway 5 Business Center at the request of the developer, subject to the conditions outlined in the permit.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, council, the public hearing's been closed. Any further questions you have, comments of staff and/or proponent?
I just have one question. What is your estimation in terms of number of employees will be in this facility?
That's always the most difficult question to answer on a speculative project. But I think a good gauge is looking at the
You
parking.
can just give the low end. I'm just curious how many people will be employed there, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, so I guess I would answer that by saying generally we have a range of 10 to 15% office. So you're having approximately 20 to 40 employees of that nature, somewhere in that range of the building. I think when you look at our portfolio of projects we've developed, that would be roughly what we anticipate.
And you have 60 parking spots, is that
Yeah.
accurate,
Yeah.
or something around there?
Yep.
So will be 40 to 60 employees. That's good. That's exactly what I was thinking about. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
don't run off just a second. So the only emails we got were from a couple neighbors up northwest. Significant, they border the view shed, but a significant distance, I don't even know, 1,000 feet, maybe more. But their concern was that right now it's this treed area that blocks, in essence, the both view and also the noise, I think, was the point of the email. Well, number one, I think the building itself will likely create even more of a noise block than the current trees did. So I think that issue is reasonably dealt with. But in terms of the tree issue, it looks like you have really good planting. And I'm assuming with staff's input, you actually maybe looked at more trees on any area like on the northwest that would face 1,000 feet away again, any neighborhood developments. Was that a strategic thing to where you place trees, or did you just, you don't have a whole lot of room? I mean, you just got the perimeter of the whole project, but was that part of maybe what you strategized?
Yeah, so I guess to discuss the trees in particular, we spent more time than typical on this project just because it's visible from all four
Right.
sides of the property line. It's an extremely visible site, and we wanted to make sure that whatever we were putting in fit in with the neighborhood as well as the surrounding community in the long term. And so I think when you look at the plantings that are on the landscaping plan, once they have really established and grown out, they'll provide a premium to what's on site currently. We're including blaze maples, other ornamental trees of that nature. So they're really more premium quality trees. What's on site is more volunteer trees. So as I mentioned previously, this site was previously an outdoor storage. There's 3 different smaller industrial buildings, and those were demolished. And the trees that are on site now are cottonwoods or lesser quality trees. So we feel like in the long term, the trees that will be planted will really be a benefit to the community because they'll be of better quality.
Great. No, you answered that. Thank you. And I would only say to Julian's staff that I know when we have our tree buy program, I think that's through Park and Rec, I'm not sure, we no longer sell maples because our city is way over planted in maples. And I know Autumn Blaze, it was the, whatever, out of the University of Minnesota, wasn't it? But it's a new maple as of 30 years ago or so, but we've planted a lot of those. And I just noticed you've got 7 of those on there, and I think it's almost the number 1 type of tree, but my only thought would be consistent with also what we're doing with our tree buy program, trying to push out various species just to keep our urban forests healthier, but that's just a bythought.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't aware of that program. I apologize.
Yeah, well, we offer out to our residents, not unlimited, but what do we sell, 400 or 600 or something a year, and you can buy 500, well, it's in the ballpark. And you can buy, each resident, if they got in there early enough, could buy 2. So, but we don't sell maples. So I thought that was interesting to see maples really on any of our replanting programs anymore, just because we're worried about an overabundance of maples in our city if a maple disease were to come through. So, okay, thank you. Council, anything else? Yes.
You know, one thing, I'm just looking at the demo map right now.
Yeah.
This is just a comment. You know, it's a unique shape property, and I see exactly why you're having to build where you're building to make it fit for the property. It looks like the building's custom fit almost, you know, for the property itself. But gosh, you know, it's just one of those things, you're looking at about 100 trees gone.
Yeah.
You know, and it's meant as a comment only because I do understand. I was just looking at many different ways where you could position it any differently.
Yep.
You really can on that property, you know,
Yeah.
and it's a tough decision for you.
Yeah, and a key driver of that was we tried to relocate elements as much as we could. So it may not be apparent all the iterations that we did, but for example, we moved the stormwater pond 5 feet north, which was the absolute maximum that we could, which will result in I believe 3 to 4 extra premium height trees remaining on site. So we were down in the weeds granular level trying to resolve some of those issues as much as we could.
Well, it's good that you gave that much thought into it on it, because I can't really see any other way you could have positioned that building.
Yeah.
And accomplished it.
And Mark, you raise a good point that when you, without knowing the process that our staff and proponent went through, I'm sure painstakingly hours in this, that when you look at it at this stage, you just wonder, why didn't you move the building that way? But if you compare the topography map of the original to what is now, and you look at the higher parts where the building is, that you got to move that dirt somewhere, they literally changed the topography of the entire site to get that flat area for a building, so.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, anyway, so I trust, yeah, I certainly trust proponents, but I trust our staff too, that, that they knew about all this and they know what they're doing, but so do you, Mark, so I appreciate that. Council, anything else? If not, are we ready to vote? We've had a motion and a second. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. All right, welcome to Eden Prairie with your spec building. Appreciate you being here. All right, now we're moving to our, kind of one of our more enjoyable parts of the year is when we appoint our residents to our commissions and
Do
boards.
payment of claims.
Like I said, moving on to payment of claims, I got anxious. It's one of the fun times of the year. Payment of claims, not that that's not exciting. Payment of claims is when we approve all the checks or all the money, the expenses that went out between now and our last meeting. That does need to be approved. I guess I could have moved it around, but you're correct. Payment of claims, council, any items you wish to learn more about or question? If not, is there a motion to approve payment of claims?
Move to approve the payment of claim as submitted.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Freiberg,
Aye.
Councilmember Narayan,
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson,
Aye.
Councilmember Toomey,
Aye.
Mayor Case.
Aye. Okay, am I forgetting anything else? Can we, okay, we're gonna move on now to appointments. I was just thinking of the excitement of this. All right, so council, what I'd suggest is that, Lisa, you just start with the flying cloud, and we'll just move on to, skip me, move on down the line, start back with Lisa, and, yep, is that okay? So if you want to begin the motion, we'll all participate in the motion. One person will second it. We'll take a vote. Proceed, Lisa.
Sure. I'll move to appoint to Flying Cloud Airport Advisory Commission Mark Morhack with a term ending March 31st, 2028.
And appoint the Heritage Preservation Commission Andy Ludovici, Prima Cicini, and Lisa Rood with the term ending March 31st, 2028.
Appoint to the Human Rights and Diversity Commission Shalonda Berry, Daniel Burton Hasselrig, Brenda Fafney, Barbara Khan, Jody Knight, and Wendy Russo with terms ending March 31, 2028, and
Appoint to the Parks and Recreation Commission Pedro Curry, Sana Alasar, Giriha Peely, apologize if I mispronounce, and Lisa Nichols, with terms ending March 31st, 2028, and
Appoint to the Planning Commission Daniel Grote, John Kirk, and Frank Sherwood with terms ending March 31st, 2028.
And appoint the Sustainability Commission Tim Connors, Daniel Hendrickson, and Alexis Junker with term ending March 31st, 2028.
So one person to second it.
second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed. So, Mr. Getcher, I probably should have turned A over to you, but I will turn B just in case there's other things to say about the Board of Appeal and Equalization.
Thank you, Mayor. And if I could too, I want to talk briefly about A, because I think it's important for the public and those watching to know that I think we had close to 40 people apply for these commission seats, and I think you read about 20 names. And of the 20 names, I believe 9 of the names were reappointments, because there are people that like to re-up for a second term, and if you want a third term, you need unanimous approval, and there were some that were not reappointed. But I mean, that's a lot of interest in wanting to be a part of the city and civic engagement. And it's unfortunate that there's not always room for everybody. And I think you said this at the interviews. That's the other thing I should mention. You said this at the interviews because you, as a city council, personally interview all these people. Not every city council interviews every person applying for a commission. You're probably used to that. It's something that's been part of Eden Prairie for decades, but that doesn't happen in every city. You actually took a full evening and interviewed all of those 40 people, and then were able to choose the names that you just read. So again, we encourage people to apply in future years because there are always openings, and we have other avenues for engagement. We talked about the City Government Academy, but I just wanted to mention that we really like to see all those people applying and that you personally interview them, but there isn't room for all of them each and every year. On the Board of Appeal, Mayor, as you mentioned, the one coming up, this is different because these are appointments that are made for basically one purpose, for one meeting typically, sometimes 2 meetings, and that is to consider any appeals that there might be to value assessments at Eden Prairie. So people will get their property tax and property value statements, and they have an opportunity to question the value. And quite frankly, it doesn't need to even get to the Board of Appeal. Anybody can call and discuss their value with any of our appraisers or assessing staff at any time. But there could be a point where the Board of Appeal, which is made up of experts in the real estate field, people that are certified appraisers, would hear those appeal and take action on those on behalf of the council. So annually, you need to appoint 5 people to do that, specialized service. And those are the 5 people that we're asking you to appoint tonight for a service that would run now through the end of May.
And I don't think I heard you say this, but one is a broker, a real estate broker. Of the 5, the others are all expert. One is a real estate salesperson. Did you say this? I don't think so.
No.
And then 3 are real estate residential appraisers. So a lot of expertise on that. So if somebody comes and says, my house was appraised at 580 and I think it's only worth 350, we've got experts that can say, well, your neighbor sold for 580, you know, whatever, and they can help educate.
They do.
Yeah. All right. Council, any further conversation, discussion about this, or does someone want to make a motion?
Move to appoint to the local Board of Appeal and Equalization, Lyndon Moquist, Nate Thompson, Steve Desmond, Mark Hoffman, and Danielle Simonson for the period of March 4, 2025 through March 31st, 2025.
May 31st. That's
I'm sorry, May 31st, 2025, or until the Board of Appeal Equalization completes its work.
great. Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed. All right. Well, I'll turn it back, Mr. Getchell, in case there's anything else you wanted to add, but the chairs and vice chairs.
Yeah, I'll be quick, Mayor and Council. You also do appoint chairs and vice chairs to these commissions, and most of these people have been in these positions previously, but there are a few new people willing to step up in a few vice chair roles.
So I think we ended with PG. Should we just go down again, starting with Kathy appointing the chair and vice chair of the Flying Cloud, and then we'll go bullet by bullet, different people. Go ahead.
Appoint Daniel Dorson, Chair, and Mark Moorhawk, Vice Chair of the Flying Cloud Airport Advisory Commission.
Mark?
Appoint Stephen Schumacher, Chair, and Paul Thorpe, Vice Chair of the Heritage Preservation Commission.
And appoint Patrice Erickson, Chair, and Pedro Curry, Vice Chair of the Parks, Recreation, Natural Resources Commission.
Appoint Andrew Piper, Chair, Trishra Duncan, Vice Chair for the Planning Commission, and
Appoint Aaron Pook, Chair, and Cindy Kaufman, Vice Chair of the Sustainability Commission.
Appoint Gregory Leeper, Chair, and Barbara Kahn, Vice Chair of the Human Rights and Diversity Commission.
Great. Is there one person that would second it?
second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Just maybe a brief note of gratitude from all of us to all of our residents that are willing to take time and serve their community and serve us, help us as a council. I think we're 5 fairly smart people, but we certainly do not, we're far from knowing everything. And so we appoint these experts and people that have time in many cases that can help advise us and put time in to serve our residents. So thank you on behalf of the council, myself, we really appreciate all that you do, so thank you. All right, as a city council, we are what's called a statutory Plan B form of government here in the state of Minnesota, meaning that we as a council hire just one person, the city manager, and that city manager, whether he or she, in this case he, goes out and hires the people to address the wants, desires, and direction that the council gives him. 270, 300 full-time, 600, 700 seasonal part-time, I always say around 1,000, but that you employ and are responsible for through your cabinet and et cetera, but ultimately it's you. So we, as a board, have one employee, and that's Rick Etchell. So every year, it's our responsibility to evaluate our one employee and make determination whether he has met the goals and expectations that we've had for him, and then make a salary adjustment, and then present that out to the public, vote on it, and then send him on his way to again, go do the work that we direct him. Because it's an employee situation, we meet in closed session. That's legal. This council has to meet in open public session for every single meeting we ever have, except meetings have anything to do with legal issues, lawsuits, et cetera, and or employee relations. We have one employee. So we did meet in closed session after our last meeting, gave our city manager a performance review, went over all the information I'm going to read to you momentarily with him, set his salary. We had lots of input and advice, and we looked at the salary adjustments of city managers around us with the idea that we both want to keep our city manager. You'll see in a moment when I read this, we think he's doing an amazing job. But we also want to be fair and responsible to our residents as we set the one salary that we can control. We control, I guess, other salaries through the budget, but directly with our one employee. So what I'd like to do now is to read the statement that is a result of the summary of our closed session from our last meeting. This is a summary of city manager performance review and approval of 2025 compensation. You'll have a requested action when I'm completed reading this. Someone will make a motion, second it, and we'll vote on it. So here's the summary. The city manager's contract provides for an annual performance review by the city council in conjunction with a salary review. At its meeting on February 18th, 2025, the city council held a closed session to evaluate the performance of the city manager for the prior year. In that closed session, Mr. Getchell summarized his own, the city's accomplishments, or at least his own role in that, in 2024 under his leadership, including the adoption of a budget with one of the lowest tax levy increases in the metro area, and the continuance of the city's AAA bond rating, which brings tangible value to the city. Mr. Getchell also highlighted progress and achievements on department work plans, major infrastructure and development projects, the police department remodel project, the fire staffing study, the new long-term lease for Flying Cloud Field, sustainability efforts, community engagement. Mr. Getchell also described his collaboration with other city managers and his varied mentorship activities. The council then discussed Mr. Getchell's performance, giving him overwhelmingly positive reviews. They highlighted his financial management of the city, including the city's AAA bond rating and a budget that maintains a high level of city services with the low tax levy. We noted his responsiveness to council and community concerns and the positive work environment that he fosters here at the city. Each council member praised his excellent work and performance and superb communication, leadership, and management skills. We all expressed that the city is very fortunate to have him. We, the council, then discussed Mr. Getchell's salary, considering his excellent performance review. Council determined to increase Mr. Getchell's base salary by 4.3%, which results in a base salary of $240,000, and to provide $20,000 additional in employee health insurance premiums and deferred compensation. Let's go ahead and make the motion and second, and if anyone wants to speak or add anything, you don't have to. You're certainly welcome to. Is there someone that would make a motion to approve this 4.3% increase in salary for the year 2025?
Move to approve a 4.3% increase in the city manager's salary for 2025, and once again provide an additional $20,000 in employee health insurance and premiums and deferred compensation.
Is there a second?
Second.
I think we'll go ahead and take the vote, and then if anyone wants to say anything, any further discussion just on the motion itself? If not, then all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed. Is there anyone that wants to add anything to what I read or your personal perception or opinion? You don't have to. Yes.
No, Kathy.
Oh, Kathy.
I wanted to say, thank you publicly for the job that you do for the city. Citizens that contact me are very pleased with the Eden Prairie. They're happy to live here and raise their children here. It's safe, but they have a police department that, really looks carefully at residents and represents them. They're good police. Same with fire. Our parks are well kept up, and families and individuals appreciate that. And you've done a wonderful job for us over the past, and we know you'll do a wonderful job in the future, but we do want to thank you.
Councilmember Narayan.
Oh, thank you. I think Mayor already highlighted that one of the most important part is the financial stability of our city and maintaining the budget, maintaining low. So I'm not going to repeat that, and just want to say thank you. That's we all worried about. But I do want to highlight a couple of other things that so far we have not mentioned. Rick, your communication skill, I mean, I really admire that, the way you communicate with us, communicate with the employees, when not even text on a Sunday afternoon, you respond back. And that's just.
Wait, I didn't know that. You get to him on a Sunday and he gets back to you?
I get him.
Wow,
I get him.
wow.
And he
Oh.
does. He responds, he jumps.
Now we all know.
And thank you, really appreciate it. The other aspect I look at is the employee morale. I think we really have a great, your employees like you. We
Wait a minute,
want
we're all
the-
looking around right now just to make
right,
sure.
right, yes, say yes. And we also want the best place to work and so on. That doesn't come free. That's really related to your leadership. And the other part is community outreach. And I'm a big fan of like July 4th, and you've finally listened to Lisa, and we actually even have a drone now.
Drones,
See,
yeah.
you listen to the city council, People First, Coffee with the Cop, Town Hall, City Open House, Government Academy. I mean, you really embrace our city in many ways, that we have an ability to listen to our residents, their concerns, and you run an awesome city. And thank you for that. I'm not done yet. And another part I want to say, the strategy. You really in sync with city council strategy. We care about the city council priority, the low tax. We like to have high services, right? A good financial stability, sustainability. You saw today that Kathy was asking about the proponent about, is it able to put the
Solar on the road.
solar on the roof, right? Affordable housing initiatives and so on. I mean, it just you do really understand what we want and you're trying to execute that. And thank you so much. I think the last part, no, a couple more. One of the part is I want to say the respect from other cities. You know, when we go to different meetings, to different places, and when you say, you know, Eden Prairie, Rick Getchell, you know, people just love outside Eden Prairie. You know, all the other city managers and commissioners, they look up to you. And I think you won some award on
Yeah, an award
award on that as a best city manager.
in the whole state.
So that just awesome. Make us proud when we walk around with you, right? So thank you. And I think overall, Rick, I think you're an outstanding city manager. I'm proud to be Eden Prairie City Council member working with you, and I hope you continue this excellent, and help us to maintain the low tax and high services, the delicate balance of both. We are not saying always have to be low, right? So we all know. And I'm very happy with your performance. I hope you are as well. And I just want to say, take the time and thank you for all your hard work.
Well said, well summarized. Anything else?
Yeah.
Mark and then Lisa, or Lisa?
Sure. No,
Okay,
Mark can go.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mayor. One thing that really comes to mind when describing Rick Eschau, city manager, is a very, very unique balance of communication and leadership. It's rare in politics. It's rare in, in government. It's very, very rare, in business. But he has a very unique balance between the two. He's, if not the absolute most capable, he's right up there as far as the best Minnesota has, as far as in his position on it. I've been very proud of working with you these last 6 years. One of the things I can always count on is I can contact him. He's very accessible. When one of our constituents has a question or problem I can't answer, I'll call upon Rick, and I know it's getting taken care of. If he doesn't address it directly, he'll have someone address it, and I hear it time and time again. Thank you. It's a rare privilege to work with someone like you.
Lisa?
I'm good. No, I'm just kidding. I agree with everything that was said up here tonight, and we are so fortunate to have you in our city as our award-winning city manager. So thank you, and he works with all of us. We all have very different personalities, so that's good too, right? I mean, and you're extremely, like Mark said, accessible and patient, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Wow. I had not intended that everyone was speaking. I'm so thrilled you did. So thank you. And everyone gave such, it was all consistent, but nonetheless varied. So, and it did well represent our feelings about Rick and the idea that we hear it all the time from our residents. So people all the time, literally, all the time, if they see me randomly in the store, you can imagine what they ask first: how's Eden Prairie? That's like the question. And how do you answer that, in 2 words? Except that I always do say, and it's so true, we are in a really good place right now. And I can say that relative to other cities, other mayors I talk to. We have some great neighbors. They're in a good position often too, but they have issues and problems we just don't have right now. We have great city manager, great staff, great services, great amenities, a great council right now. I bet of all the mayors I've chatted with in the last 3 to 4 years, we have less issues between us. We get along well. And that's so rare today in politics, to have different viewpoints and even different political perspectives and have us all get along and respect each other so well. And I credit you with that. You are in that, as I think Mark said, I'm not sure everyone may be, but you're in that leadership position that you carry a lot of the weight of go-betweens, of liaisoning, of making sure that staff is connecting well with council and that individual council members connect well with each other. And just, you have a lot on your plate and you do it so well. So you're very deserving. The last thing I just wanted to say is that you're just not new anymore. I mean, when we brought you here in 2012, 11, 12, something, I mean, you still had 15, 18 years under your belt, but you had some smaller cities. Now, is it 28 years or 30 years as a city manager? Something, a lot. 29. And you're a seasoned, you don't look it, you're a seasoned city manager, well-respected around the state. When you won the City Manager of the State Award, people stood up and, you know, it was a surprise to you and gave you a standing ovation. I mean, you're just well-respected. And like all of us, like you said, we're proud of you. It's like, yep, that's our city manager. So it's not that no city manager in the state of Minnesota really can be paid what they're valued at in terms of keeping them from going to Wisconsin or Iowa. I mean, you jump to other states and you get city manager salaries of $300, $350, $400 down in Illinois. No city in Minnesota is doing that. But we don't want to underpay you. And I feel like we're in that ballpark of the top 3 salaries in the state in terms of base salary. You deserve number 1. And so we want to keep you in that area that makes you feel adequately, fairly compensated. And we want to be able to say thank you with great gratitude to the job that you do. So I feel like we're representing well our residents with this performance review and subsequent salary that we've given you for the year 2025. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Do you want to say anything? Fine, just,
It's
you don't have to, but you
Mayor,
may.
it's snowing outside.
Okay, all right. Is there any other business to come before the council this evening? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn the city council meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This meeting is adjourned.